in common with one another. Like dogs of the same breed, we may look alike, but we don't act alike. There's nothing wrong with any of that. Nothing wrong with them or me. Just the way life plays out. Vive la différence. I didn't set out to change the world by the way I raised Atticus. I only wanted to live in a way that would work for the two of us. It was a private choice for our private lives. It's ironic that I'm at the point where I don't give much thought to dog breeds. Any kind of breedism conflicts with my deeply held beliefs, and yet I've now lived with 3 miniature schnauzers. But that has more to do with dear old fate than it does my wishes. Max needed a home, so I took him in, not really knowing what a miniature schnauzer was. I had to look up the breed online after I agreed to take Max in, sight unseen. When I figured it out, I cringed. I considered myself more of a black lab man. Atticus came into my life because I went in search for another Max. And Will? Well, you know by now why I took him in. It wasn't the breed. What mattered was that it was reported he was good with other dogs, and, more important, he desperately needed a place to die with dignity. One morning last year, when I was shopping in North Conway's For Your Paws Only, I was approached by a woman. "Tom." "Yes?" I didn't know her. She pressed closer and leaned in, like we were co-conspirators. "You and I have something in common." "Oh?" I stepped back. "What's that?" "We're both schnauzer people." "Oh, I'm not really a schnauzer person." Now that's funny. No, seriously, I'm not. I know it may not seem that way, but the whole breed thing doesn't mean much to me. She stopped for a moment and settled on a compromise. "Okay, but at least you're a dog person, just like me." "Actually, I'm not really a dog person either." She cocked her head to one side. Her forehead wrinkled. "If you really need to say I'm something, you could say I'm an elephant person." "An elephant person? But you live with 2 dogs." "That's because I don't have room for 2 elephants." "But even if I did, I wouldn't treat them as elephants. First and foremost, they'd be individuals. I'd treat them as I have always treated Atticus and Max and finally, Will. After much education from the animals I've known, I would say that yes, dogs of the same breed share many physical traits and are susceptible to comparable health issues, and of course they can look similar. But that's where it ends. I no more think every schnauzer's alike, or every beagle or poodle or bulldog for that matter, than I think that every Kenyan, Croatian, American, Republican, Catholic, Jew, Democrat, vegan, hunter, Bostonian, Kansan, or New Yorker is exactly like all his or her counterparts. Of course, I shared none of this with Will, not that he could hear me pontificate, or would want to listen. He was having a difficult enough time trying not to fall down. While he recovered, he slept most of his days away, and when he was awake, he didn't want much of anything to do with Atticus or me. He wanted to be left alone. Atticus and I would return from a walk, and I'd see Will curled up in his bed in the corner. He'd raise an eyelid, see that we were home, and ignore us. When he did get up and move around our apartment, he didn't interact with us or look at us. When he became a little more mobile, he'd go into the bedroom to get away from us. During a telephone conversation with my aunt, Mary Jane, I said, "I want to help him. I just don't know how." "Tommy, sometimes the only thing you can do in hospice is to be there for someone. They've come to a great reckoning in their lives, and they have to figure things out. You can't take it personally." "Hospice? That's what you're doing for Will, isn't it? Offering him hospice? Didn't you say you wanted to give him a place to die with dignity?" "That's exactly what I was doing. But the term hadn't crossed my mind." "Tommy, you're giving him a sacrament," she added. Mary Jane was a desert flower of mysticism, insight, compassion,